Hello again, teachers. This is John over in Educational Technology, and today we've got some more tips for you in Google Classroom. When you're in Google Classroom, again, we're going to be looking under the Classwork tab up here at the top, and you may have noticed that you've got a couple of links here to, it says Google Calendar and Class Drive. Now we just wanted to explain what these are real quick so that we don't dismiss them as being just simple links or not important. These are specific to your Google Classroom. So for example, when I click on Google Calendar is specific to your classroom. In other words, my class is called EdTech Test Class, and I now have a specific Google Calendar for that class. If you're in elementary and you have one class section, you will have one folder. If you're in secondary or have more than one section, you will have a Google Classroom calendar for each classroom that you have. Now, why this is important is because every time you create an assignment or create anything in Google Classroom with a due date, that will actually show up on this calendar. So imagine if we're always pointing students to stay consistent in checking their Google Calendar, they'll always get those reminders. They can even customize their own reminders for something that's coming up and not wait till the very last minute to complete or turn it in. So this can be very useful. Anything you put on the calendar will also show up for students for that classroom. The other button is the Class Drive folder. Now the Class Drive folder, just to give you an overview, anytime you create a Google Classroom, you are also creating a folder in your Google Drive that will house any and all documents that you use in your classroom. And why that's important is because if I were to assign a document to my entire class, for example, and it makes 30 copies for my 30 students, all of those copies will be in my drive. You should also know that students also have a Google Drive folder with the same name, in this case EdTech Test Class, because that's my Google Classroom name. But even though it's the same name, it's not the same folder. Students will only see documents that you assign to them specifically, whereas you, the teacher, will actually see all documents for all students in your class so that you can jump in there and grade if you'd like to. Anytime you want to change specific permissions, you can also do that directly here in your Google Drive. So again, when you're in Google Classroom, just know that this Google Calendar and Google Class Drive at the top are there that can be very helpful for you to either get granular with permissions or to know anything that's coming up in your Google Classroom that's specific to you. So anyhow, hope that helps. Remember, you can't be an analog teacher in a digital world, and until next time, we will talk to you then.